Panel installation day has arrived. You may begin with a gable or an eave wall. It's up to you. If a wall has a lot of small cuts for some reason, save that wall for last, which will save time in digging through the piles looking for the cut panels. Some wall panels can be installed by hand, with 2 or 3 workers moving the panels into position, placing the bottom edge of the sill plate and tipping the panel up into place. This is fine as long as you have a good level surface to walk on and easy access to the materials. It's more likely that you'll need to lift at least some of the panels and definitely all of the upper panels with a crane, lift, or extra manpower and ropes. The tools you'll need to have on hand are listed in your manual. The best place to start is on a corner. One face of the corner will have the panel flush to the frame and the other face overlaps. It's usually easier to start with the face flush to the frame. The panel numbering sequence will start on one end, usually left to right, and it makes sense to start there. Mark the edge of the starting panel on the panel ledge before laying down the bead of sealant. You should only lay out as much sealant as you can cover with the panel you're installing. Don't get too far ahead with the sealant, it gets messy. Find the chosen panel and put it on sawhorses near its final destination, exterior side up, with the foot of the panel facing the building. Look at where the panel will land on the frame. Wherever it contacts the frame, you will be inserting screws. It's a good idea to start the screws in advance to save time and help get the panel secured quickly. While the panel is on the horses, mark out the location of the ribbon band, any posts, and the upper beam or tie. Position the screws, use 7-inch screws for 4.5-inch panels, along the bottom edge, through the ribbon band, the top edge, a beam or tie, and into any posts that the panel may land on. Check your panel plan for exact details on screw spacing. Screws are usually 10 inches on center, so 5 across the bottom and 5 across the top. If the panel is half bearing on a post, keep the screws 2 inches from the edge. They need to miss the groove for the spline, but hit the post. You might want to angle these screws slightly. If there is a knee brace, you can lay it out to get 2 screws in it. Note that the screws are pre-positioned on the ground before standing the panel. This saves time and makes ladder work safer. Some people prefer to simply drive the screws with a drill or driver. Others have found that starting the screws with a hammer speeds up the process. Or you can drill starter holes for each screw. Some builders find this quicker and easier as the screws tend to vibrate and bounce when hit with a hammer, depending on the hardness of the OSB used on the panels for each building. We simply laid a scrap piece of furring strip across the panel and drew a line before drilling. The first strip is just the width needed to put the line where it needs to be, without measuring each time. Or use a drywall square at the position needed and drill along it, or mark a line along the square and drill on that line. Then, just push the screws into the foam at the angle needed, and they will be held in place for when you're on a ladder or leaning out in the air, and only have one hand available to drive them in with your drill or driver. Remember to use the supplied 7-inch screws for the 4.5-inch wall panels. The longer screws supplied are used on the thicker roof panels.